In the spring of 1940, as France fell and the Atlantic turned into a graveyard, Winston Churchill was a man haunted. History remembers him as the man who never flinched, but what if I told you his greatest battles were fought in silence? He was terrified, not of the bombs dropping from above, but of a recurring dream where he stood as a failure. This internal struggle was what he referred to as the Black Dog, a beast pressing down on his chest, whispering that the British Empire was already dead. Despite being the symbol of courage, he was wrestling with profound fear and despair. This isn't just the tale of a hero who was fearless, it's the story of a man driven to greatness by his own demons. By the end of this narrative, you'll understand why his mental struggles kept London from flying a swastika in 1941. As Europe plunged into chaos, Churchill felt an overwhelming sense of isolation, particularly with the looming threat of the Silent Sea, the U-boat blockade. Ships sank at an alarming rate, each loss exacerbating his fear. He shadowed the situation with frantic telegrams to President Roosevelt late into the night. His dread was rooted in a grim arithmetic. If the ships stopped, food supplies would dwindle, and hunger might ignite a revolution within Britain. He feared that his own people, driven to desperation, would turn against him, leading to his downfall. Historians often analyze the war's events, but it is crucial to delve into the man behind the resolute facade. Churchill understood that his depression was more than a weakness. It was a simulator that trained him to anticipate the worst outcomes. While others saw a path to peace, he envisioned the catastrophic might of Hitler's regime. In the quiet moments, as he struggled against the clutches of his black dog, he turned to art to escape the darkness. His oil paintings were not mere strokes on canvas. They were lifelines, grounding him in reality while he battled the shadows in his mind. The war's tide shifted, yet new fears emerged. As the Nazis retreated, Churchill's attention turned to a rising threat from the east, Stalin. He grappled with the realization that he had traded one devil for another. The specter of the Soviet Union became a new source of anxiety, prompting him to contemplate Operation Unthinkable, a secret plan to attack the Soviets immediately after World War II. This plot fueled his already fraught psyche, intertwining his personal fears with the geopolitical landscape, collapsing the realm of his innermost thoughts and the world's most frightening realities. Fear, often perceived as a vulnerability, served as Churchill's radar. It enabled him to pierce through the fog of blind optimism that surrounded many of his contemporaries. The silence of his internal battles juxtaposed his public image of valor. Each decision he made was shadowed by anxiety, and yet, that very fear motivated him to prepare for the worst scenarios. He didn't merely hope for a favorable outcome. He meticulously strategized against impending doom. In those critical moments during the Blitz, as the sirens wailed and explosions shattered the night, a more profound battle raged inside his mind. His black dog was a constant companion, reminding him of his vulnerabilities, yet it was within this darkness that he discovered strength. He painted not just to escape, but to survive. The act of creation became a powerful tool in his arsenal against the shadows that haunted him. But the shadows did not dissipate. Churchill's fears continued to loom large, especially as victory turned dangerously complicated. He recognized that the end of the war might not signify a return to normalcy, but could lead to a future fraught with new dangers, particularly from the east. The so-called Iron Curtain that would soon divide Europe was a concept that he foresaw long before it became a reality. He questioned whether the world might still require leaders who, like him, understood the power of fear. As we reflect upon Churchill's journey, we find that his battles were fought not solely on the battlefield, but within the confines of his own psyche. He embodied the paradox of leadership, a titan of courage plagued by the very insecurities that drove him to greatness. His story is a reminder that true valor often arises from the depths of fear. In the end, we witness a powerful, lingering image of Churchill stepping into the light of London, a city that stood strong against the storm, guided by a man who had learned to transform his shadows into shields.